Republican Yvette Herrell and Democratic Representative Xochitl Torres Small are familiar foes. The two ran a close campaign in 2018, and the 2nd Congressional District will be one of the nation's most hard-won congressional seats this year. On Sunday at 6 p.m., we'll air an hour-long special on NMPBS featuring a conversation with both candidates. You'll be able to watch online, too. Now, we tried to find a time and rules under which both candidates would agree to debate, but that wasn't possible this year. Here's a few minutes of what you can expect to see on Sunday night. What's your opinion on how President Trump has handled the pandemic? Could he have done anything differently in your view?
I actually think the administration did a great job with the information they had at the time. Shutting down travel, international travel to China, I think was a great step. And I also believe that passing the CARES package and the president signing it right away was a good step. And what I really appreciated, though, early on, they were having the press conferences, daily, weekly, really informing the American public of what they knew and how they were going to combat it. And I really appreciated the mobilization of getting American companies to start manufacturing medical equipment, respirators, masks, and not a state in the nation went without. And in fact, so much so that we had a surplus and could send overseas and help other nations. So given the information that we had at the time, I think we did a remarkable job. I think the president did, and I believe we, lessons learned. Who could have known what this would have looked like, or how big a virus this would be, and what the costs would be in terms of not only human life but the economy, everything. So I'm sure there are a lot of lessons learned, but I believe they handled it swiftly and really to the best of their ability.
Something a little more current about this. How do you feel about the president in his return from Walter Reed Hospital and being maskless, going back into the White House? Did you have any response to that when you watched that?
I really didn't. I think it was concerning for the country that the president tested positive. I really appreciate that he was able to go in, get the medical treatment necessary, and I think the virus will affect people differently. And it feels as though he gets ridiculed for just about anything he does, but I don't believe there was anybody within his, space when he took the mask off. And I think it was really a showing of, we can get through this. I tested positive. I went through some of the medical treatments and did the things the doctors had suggested in terms of taking a few days going to Walter Reed. But I really think it shows strength that we know it's a serious virus, and we know there's a mortality rate attached to it, but we can't let it control our lives or our economies or our livelihoods. And I really didn't have an opinion one way or the other, but certainly not a negative opinion about it.
What do you think about Michelle Lujan Grisham and her handling of the pandemic? As you know, we've had outbreaks in Eddy County and Chavez County, and a lot of pushback about mask wearing. I'm curious about your thoughts about how our governors handled it.
I've said this several times. Again, we know it's a serious virus, and we know that there's a mortality rate attached to it. And government's role in this case is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people. But government's role is also to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our economy. And in my opinion, I believe that the local governments should have more power, more control, and more decision making. I don't really feel it's a one-size-fits-all. And as I travel around the district, what works for Santa Fe may not be the right fit for Jowl or Hagerman or Hatch. And I really think that the local governments and the people in those communities should have more of a voice at the table, because what we've seen is, a picking of, if you will, winners and losers in terms of stores that remained open, churches, those types of things. And it's been a disadvantage to our small business owners who've been closed or were closed for several weeks or months. While we saw, the Walmarts or the big box stores remain open. So I really feel that there could have been better handling and allowing local governments to make better decisions for their communities and counties.
Speaking of sort of a personal responsibility issue, you have your mask. Walked in the studio, your staff has masks as well. Do you feel that masks are an effective way to beat back the pandemic, or are you just following orders, so to speak?
Normally I'm following orders. I think there's been a lot of misinformation on whether the masks work. I mean, we've heard Dr. Fauci say the masks don't work. They do. I think the misinformation, but I'm very respectful. So if I walk into a business that's going to mandate it, I will wear them. When I have events, I ask people to, if they're comfortable, wear a mask. If they don't, but I do want to respect others and respect business owners. And so for me, it's more of a respect issue.
One thing that's certainly changed is COVID-19 is now a part of our lives as opposed to when you first came to office. What is your opinion of how President Trump has handled the pandemic? How could he have done better, if anything?
You know, right now we really need to get to another COVID-19 package. And it's deeply frustrating that all sides appear to have left the table and have stopped negotiating, even when we've been able to show in the House of Representatives that we can find bipartisan solutions. I was really proud to be part of the Problem Solvers proposal, 25 Democrats, 25 Republicans, who the first time negotiations broke down, got back together and said, you know, what common ground can we look at? Can we focus on? And it included a wide range of things, including state, local, and tribal funds. I fought specifically for inclusion of that tribal piece. It also included unemployment and extension of unemployment benefits at a slightly reduced amount that could then be scaled based on what people were paid before the before the pandemic. And then also it included robust investments in education, whether there was a hybrid system or whether it was virtual or in person, instead of trying to influence. Now, as we look at the national approach to COVID-19, I've certainly experienced from the New Mexico side the challenges when it comes to getting the PPE and good, reliable testing results that happen quick enough so we can identify hotspots. And as we work in New Mexico to have a regional response, a fundamental piece of that is making sure that we have the testing capacity to identify those hotspots quickly. And I think that the national government could have done more to make sure to provide a national strategy for that testing, for PPE and medical equipment. And also, once a safe vaccine that has been approved scientifically is available, there needs to be a national strategy for that as well, so that less populous states like New Mexico aren't competing against more populous states like California or New York for the crucial tools to fight this virus.
I'm curious if you think companies that received millions of dollars in pandemic relief should show how they spent the money. Would you agree with that?
I do think we need robust oversight. There is a balance between getting the money to good use to make sure that it gets out to reach the people and make a difference. But then we also have to ensure that there's oversight. And one of the examples of that was the PPP program, the Paycheck Protection Program, that went out to smaller businesses. But we saw in the first wave that it really did not reach those mom and pop shops, especially in New Mexico, that were competing against better resourced, publicly traded companies, for example, that already had much stronger relationships with the larger big banks. And so it wasn't until that second wave that we were able to get set-asides for the community lenders and really work to get more support to the smallest of those businesses. So as we look at how some of those larger loans were distributed, I think there does need to be appropriate oversight to make sure that it all was used according to plan.
Interestingly, how do you feel about the president returning to the White House maskless and doing that little photo op and all that? How did that strike you when you saw that on the news?
You know, one of the tragedies of COVID-19 for me has been seeing how the division between Republicans and Democrats has exacerbated the spread of the virus, that it's become a political statement rather than a statement of personal responsibility, that we can all use the best social distancing measures as well as masks. And so that's why I think it is a matter of personal responsibility, but people have the opportunity to really show that we care about our neighbors and that we are dedicated to defeating this by setting a good example.